money buys you options. And in the lifestyle of the rich and famous, option buys you anything your heart's desire. And for a true petrol head, one of the first dreams that they're going to choose to materialize, well, is this. It's the all-new Porsche 911. It's iconic. It is the car that defines style and driving at the same time. Steve McQueen, James Dean, Tom Cruise, Pharrell Williams, they all have one. Why? Because it's a sports car that you live with every day, but it is a sports car that defines what driving should be like. It is a sports car that sets the boys apart from the men. So it's not uncommon to be finding a toy like this in a playground like Genting at any time. Well, only one thing left to do is to find out what this little baby can really do. For 5 decades, the 911 has been the heart of the Porsche brand. Few other automobiles in the world can look back on such a long tradition and with such genuine continuity as the Porsche 911. It has been inspiring car enthusiasts the world over since its debut as a Type 901 at the IAA International Automotive Show in September 1963. Today, it is considered the quintessential sports car, the benchmark for all others. The 911 is also the central point of reference for all other Porsche series. From the Cayenne to the Panamera, every Porsche is the most sporting automobile in its category, and each one carries a piece of the 911 philosophy. Okay, now that we're on the road, let's talk a little bit about this car that is basically the dream of every single petrol head, every hot-blooded male that loves motoring, loves the automobile ever since it was first created. This is the car that people would be lasting for. Okay, the 911, it's as iconic as it can be. Why? Because it just drives absolutely brilliantly. What we have in our hands today is the brand new Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. So we've got the S model as well as the all-wheel drive driving system. So that's what the 4 stands for. So when it's 4-wheel drive, you know that you will have Puritans who are going to say, you know, a sports car, especially a Porsche, needs to be a 2-wheel drive. So the 4 is actually taking away from the very essence of driving. Well, I'm going to say I've sat in both and I've driven both, and I would say that the difference is not so apparent when it's dry. This particular unit comes with the 3.8 litre flat 6, producing 400 brake horsepower and 440 Newton meters of torque. And this car in particular also has the power kit, a cost option added in, which gives it 30 extra brake horsepower. So that's 430 brake horsepower. Now, if it's all about power and you don't know how to use it, that does not guarantee you a wonderful drive. I'm taking twisties here in Genting. Okay, I'm going a little bit slow, but I'll go a little bit faster now. What allows this car to be driven so well is the setup of the car. Okay, first of all, it's a very lightweight car. The chassis is made up of aluminium and steel. And even the engine block, the weight of the engine block mattered to the people in Porsche. They actually use very light alloys to create that perfect 50-50 weight distribution balance that is the hallmark of a Porsche. So the lightweightness of the car, along with a list of alphabets, PDCC, PASM, PTM, PSM, all this stuff, well, they contribute, they work with each other to give you a better driving experience. this car, even though it's meant to be performance orientated, it is also it comes also with a green civic conscious. So that is why you will find stuff like start-stop system in here. These are some of the things that have been installed by Porsche to actually promote fuel efficiency. So this car has more power, has the same engine size, but it emits less carbon dioxide and it uses less petrol, about 15 to 16% depending on how you spec up your car. But back to the drivability of this car, you will find absolutely no fault at all attacking the twisties in a Porsche 911. Now, the Porsche Stability Management System, as well as the Porsche Traction Management System, which is comes standard with the 4 models, be it 4 or 4S, these work in tandem with each other to provide the best torque vectoring, mapping, and power delivery to the wheel that needs the power the most, as efficiently as anything in the world. It is so efficient that you actually don't have to think about how you are going to attack corners. For example, you just point your car where you want it to go, you put your foot down, and always remember the golden rule of slow in, fast out, and you're pretty much good to go. The brakes, also, you can option some glitzy ceramic brakes, identifiable by its yellow calipers, and that again is a brilliant cost option if you like to take your car out onto the track. But apart from that, the 911 Carrera 4S is as good as the previous generation and better, and it delivers so much more. I mean, let's just get one thing out of the way. This car is a brilliant car. If you're thinking performance, you're going to be very, very hard pressed to find anything else out there for the same money that's going to give you so much oomph and so much character in driving. Consider this. This is my first time driving the new 4S. So it might be a little bit unfamiliar for me, but from Genting Sumpah all the way up to our hotel in Genting, 8 minutes. We like that. More than 820,000 Porsche 911s have been built, making it one of the most successful sports cars in the world. For each of its 7 generations, the engineers in Zuffenhausen and Weissach have reinvented it, time and again demonstrating to the world the innovative power of the Porsche brand. Like no other vehicle, the 911 reconciles apparent contradictions such as sportiness and everyday practicality, tradition and innovation, exclusivity and social acceptance, design and functionality. It is no wonder that each generation has written its own personal success story. Ferry Porsche best described its unique qualities. The 911 is the only car you could drive on an African safari or at Le Mans, to the theatre or through New York City traffic. I challenge you, you'll be very hard pressed to find anything that is so multi-talented, so capable like this car. Now, ask yourself this: how come for the last 50 years the Porsche 911 Carrera has been on top of everybody's list? It's been on the walls of so many people, so many different generations. It's been in the dreams of every single boy and girl who has had any single ounce of interest on anything automotive. Well, it's because this car is all that I've just mentioned and so much more. You can live with it on a daily basis, and when you want to show off, boy, can you show off. And in this particular, guys, the 911 Carrera 4S, come rain or shine, it ain't a problem at all. Now, I can only say so much about this car. Now, what I can say is I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and well, I think this is probably the best car I have ever driven in my entire life, be it on this show or not. But you got to do this. You got to do yourself this favor of trying it out yourself. If you have the dough in the pocket, you should definitely give it a go. But you got to be prepared for one thing. You got to be prepared to want it so badly. Possibly you are probably going to end up wanting it as badly as anything that you've held the most precious in your entire life. I promise you, it's something that you cannot go to bed and not think about. Can only be the only one Porsche 911 Carrera 4S.